Good evening and welcome to tonight's bedtime story. Today we'll explore the story of Dante Alighieri. Find a comfortable position and let yourself relax. Let this story carry you through a peaceful night. Ready? Let's begin. The glory of Dante Alighieri's pen is matched only by the weight of its untold cost and eternal dance between the splendor of his creations and the burden they imposed. Under the vast, star-flecked sky of medieval Florence, a velvet darkness envelops the city, punctuated by the soft silver glow of the moon. The Arno River beneath reflects this luminescence, a ribbon of light snaking through the labyrinthine streets. As night serenely settles, whispers of citrus and olives from nearby groves mingle with fragrant memories of a summer now past, as the warmth gently gives way to autumn's embrace. In this serene tableau, nestled within the city's embrace, Dante Alighieri finds solace in a modest chamber. Here, surrounded by simplicity that conceals the depth of his insights, he sits in thoughtful repose. The soft, flickering glow of a nearly spent candle casts playful shadows on the rugged stone walls. The mingling scent of beeswax and ink creates an intoxicating air, enveloping the poet in familiar comfort. From the open window, Florence breathes into the room. Distant voices murmur, horses' hooves echo on cobblestone, and church bells toll a solemn rhythm of time passing. Each chime is a poignant reminder of life's impermanence, resonating deeply within Dante's introspective soul. This sanctuary is more than a room. It is a stage for the eloquent ballet of dreams and inspirations, where thoughts transform into verse before the silent witness of shelves laden with wisdom. Here, Dante's mind ventures courageously, reaching into realms where divine and earthly truths converge. The luminous presence of Beatrice, ever a celestial guide in his musings, illuminates his journey toward profound understanding. Her essence, a gentle constancy, draws him toward eternal truths even amidst their elusive nature. In this stillness, Dante navigates the paradox of contentment woven with yearning, seeking enlightenment amid a life's work shadowed by the specter of exile from the city he loves. As the candle sighs its last, his soul remains tethered to Florence, ever reaching for the infinite. The chamber is a symphony of shadows orchestrated by the quivering glow of candlelight. The stone walls absorb the flicker, transforming the room into a living canvas where darkness and light play their endless chase. The air is thick with the scent of melting tallow, a subtle reminder of the world outside this intimate haven, a world that rests restlessly beyond the thick, ancient stones of this sanctuary. Dante Alighieri, young yet with a soul weighed by a realm of experiences, sits hunched over a parchment, his face illuminated by the tender flames. The light caresses the contours of his youthful features, casting them in a golden hue reminiscent of dawn breaking over a slumbering Florence. Each movement of his quill is deliberate, a dance as meticulous and purposeful as the dawn creeps over the Arno River, bringing life to a city woven with ambition and intrigue. In the heart of this night, every written verse becomes a stone dropped into life's current, sending ripples through the stillness of his solitude. The verses he pens are not merely words. They are echoes of thoughts that venture beyond the present, reaching out to the tangled webs of human emotion and fate. He writes of Beatrice, his muse and his torment, her presence haunting him like the tangible perfume of night-blooming jasmine that drifts through the chamber windows. A cool breeze snakes its way into the room, brushing against his skin as a gentle reminder of the outside world where life carries on unabated. It mingles with the aromas of parchment and ink, filling the chamber with an earthy and grounding fragrance. Dante closes his eyes momentarily, allowing the sensory memories to transport him to places unconfined by walls to bustling piazzas, the echo of footsteps on cobblestone streets, and the lyrical cadence of Florentine dialects mingling in the atmosphere. Despite his focused gaze on the script before him, his mind meanders through a landscape of memory and dreams. There, on the periphery of consciousness, lie unfinished tales etched into the very foundation of his homeland's soul, much like the tender waves of the sea shaping the time-worn rocks along the coast. These are the stories of love discovered and forlorn, of paths diverging at countless junctures, leading towards twilight places where loss becomes both familiar and profound. For Dante, the night unfolds under the moon's soft, watchful gaze, its silvery light secretive and almost conspiratorial. The moon doesn't judge. It simply bears witness to the scribe's thoughts as they weave stories from emotion and myth, transforming personal sorrow into universal truth. Its presence is an anchor, pulling on the creative tides within him, urging him to articulate those inner truths and celestial musings swirling tumultuously beneath the surface. In this sacred solitude, as candle wax dribbles lazily down the candlesticks, Dante pauses. He listens to the silence, heartbeats connecting him to the endless tales of humanity and heaven. His heart whispers of journeys yet undertaken, adventures rich in love and loss, where none return unchanged. Here, in this interplay of ethereal light and weighted words, Dante finds both his anchor and his liberation, carving an indelible mark upon the stone walls of time with the fragile pen of a poet's soul. Dante sat alone in his candlelit study, the evening's embrace gently wrapping around the edges of his awareness. The warmth of the candle's golden glow painted the rugged stone walls in hues of amber and ochre, casting long, flickering shadows that danced to the symphony of crackling firewood. Outside his window, Florence lay enshrouded in the deepening twilight, a city both serene and simmering with potent ambition, where the Arno whispered secrets through its perpetual flow. The familiar scent of aged parchment and ink mingled with the faint aroma of lavender drifting in from the garden, a reminder of the world beyond these walls, a world pulsating with life and possibility. Dante's quill moved across the parchment with rhythmic precision, each scratch like a note in the evolving composition of his thoughts. The pen's tip sang softly against the fibers of the paper, a gentle symphony of creation. With each stroke, he charted a course through the vast landscapes of his imagination, where he saw uncharted territories and unwalked paths awaiting discovery. Yet amidst this cocoon of creativity, Dante was aware of a simmering tension, an almost electric pulse coursing through his veins. This sensation was not unlike the tangible vibrancy of Florence itself, a city on the cusp of its next renaissance. He felt a profound connection to this place, the city that bore him. Its vibrant streets were both a playground and a crucible, shaping the man and his verse. Florence was a city thrumming with contradiction, its serene chapels and courtyards almost masking the schemes of intrigue and the fervor of ambition, a reflection of life's eternal duality. Dante paused, gazing out across the moonlit sprawl of rooftops, terracotta tiles glowing under the silver glow. His mind wandered to the people below, merchants, craftsmen, and poets, each spinning their own threads into the rich tapestry of the city. He imagined the lively marketplaces, echoing with shouts of traders offering silk and spices, their vibrancy underscored by the distant clang of blacksmiths laboring into the night. For a moment, he closed his eyes, breathing deeply, feeling the pulse of the city as if it were a living, breathing entity. Florence was not just his home, but an inexhaustible source of inspiration, a muse whose allure was both enthralling and inescapable. The city had a heartbeat of its own, and he felt himself knit into its rhythm, each beat calling him to continue his own journey of exploration and revelation. As he resumed writing, Dante could feel the flicker of creativity rekindling within him, a flame nurtured by the quietude of his surroundings, yet fueled by the dynamic energy outside. His thoughts turned inward, exploring the depths of his consciousness and the ineffable dance between divine inspiration and human frailty. Ideas flowed from him like the Arno itself, meandering yet purposeful, shaping what would become his legacy, a testament to the profound dialogues between man, muse, and city. In this sacred solitude, Dante understood that this introspective toil was not solitary at all. It was a dialogue, a silent exchange with the world around him, a meditation resonant with the all-encompassing pull of Florence. The city whispered promises of adventures, echoing a call to immortalize his reveries and woes, and he was ready to listen, ready to transform these murmured echoes into immortal verse. The room is dimly lit, the only source of light a flickering candle that casts dancing shadows on the walls, its wax slowly melting into poetic shapes on the wooden table. Dante sits at his desk, his eyes glossed over with the depths of reverie, staring not just at parchment, but into worlds unseen. The edges of the night settle like a gentle blanket around him, muffling the sounds of life outside, leaving only the whispering winds that slip through the cracks of the window, threading through the silence like a distant lullaby. The air is tinged with the scent of ink and old parchment, a familiar fragrance that has become more home than his own soul. In the delicate glow, he dips his quill into the ink pot with a careful grace, the tips of his fingers stained with the essence of countless thoughts and dreams captured over years. Each stroke of the quill on paper is a quiet thunder, a gentle storm within four walls, charging the air with possibility. As he writes, his mind flutters between the present and the eternal. He sees the stars beyond the ceiling, feeling their age-old light seep through time and space to rest on his shoulders like a weightless cloak. A warmth spreads from his heart, an old friend that kindles the passion and determination to carve the endless paths of his narrative into the silent sea of night. The stars remind him of both how small and how immense his efforts are, a paradox that only fuels his purpose. In his heart, there's a pendulum of emotion, a delicate balance between hope and doubt. He navigates this inner ocean, the swells of uncertainty crashing against the shores of his resolve. Yet each wave brings with it the soothing rhythm of inevitability, the reassurance that the voyage he undertakes in solitude is not in vain. The verses he crafts are vessels, each word a sailor ready to bravely seek out uncharted territories of thought and feeling. The night wind, like a messenger from afar, sends whispers of both challenge and grace through the window. It caresses his cheek coolly, as if testing the strength of his resolve, only to retreat once more into the night. Its breath carries stories of struggle and triumph, tales of humanity folded into the very fabric of the universe. These murmurs from the dreamscape beyond the glass stir him, infusing his solitude with an unspoken kinship to all who have contemplated the nature of the cosmos and their place within it. The candlelight trembles with each brush of air, its glow fragile yet persistent, a mirror to Dante's own spirit. As he pauses to breathe, his mind wanders through his past, through memories of laughter and loss, joy and heartbreak, which swirl like leaves in a gentle gale. The echoes of loved voices guide him, their lessons and stories becoming threads in the tapestry he weaves, each line a testament to the multifaceted journey of life. Yet amid this quiet reverie lies a steadfast purpose. In this sanctuary of night, isolated from the bustle of the waking world, he commits himself to the intricate dance of creation. Dante's journey is an inward odyssey, one that maps the depths of human consciousness and charts a luminous path across the unfathomable ocean of existence. With each pen stroke, he anchors his destiny to the stars, a soul adrift yet endlessly guided by the luminous coordinates of inspiration and the perpetual grace of his nocturnal voyage. As the candle flickers its final dance and surrenders to the embrace of darkness, its descent into embers marks both an end and a beginning. The room is draped in the kind of silence that only the deep hours of night can weave, a quiet so profound, it's as if the world is holding its breath. Midnight is a boundary, a liminal space where the old dawn concedes to the new, and with it stirs a quiet resolve within Dante. He sits alone, his quill resting beside incomplete verses that spill across the parchment like secrets waiting to be uncovered. The ink is still wet, glistening tenderly in the low light before it grows stiff and set in its permanence. Each word a passage, leading him onwards toward landscapes both known and unknown, metaphorical bridges between the mundane and the divine. Outside, Florence slumbers, wrapped in the cloak of night, its streets silvered under the thin blanket of moonlight. The Arno River flows like a lithe ribbon through the heart of the city, whispering tales to the wind, memorizing dreams. The towers and arches of temples cast their elongated silhouettes, softened by the gentle embrace of starlight, each a pillar of history, each a witness to countless dawns. Dante stands and strides to the window, pushing it open to the cool, crisp night air. Instinctively, he draws a deep breath, and the smells of the city rise to greet him. The earthy scent of distant vineyards still heavy with dew, the faint and lingering smoke of hearth fires extinguished hours ago, mingling with the fragrant ghost of orange blossoms carried in on the breeze. These familiar perfumes anchor him to the realm of the living, even as his mind wanders to the philosophical and ethereal. The city feels familiar yet curiously distant, as if viewed through the dusky lens of memory. It is a place still cocooned in sleep, the heart of Florence beating steadily beneath fragile dreams. Yet this silence, this twilight, whispers unsung revelations, an orchestra of possibilities, at the threshold of the conscious and the enigmatic. He imagines the streets as veins of thought, each one unfurling like an endless path beneath a starry canopy, inviting him to tread softly upon its cobbled stones. Florence is not only a physical dwelling but a muse, an ever-persistent companion in his restless quest for meaning, interwoven into the fabric of his soul. His fingers trace the stone ledge, cool and slick with the night's moisture, and he lets his eyes drift skyward. The heavens pulse softly, the stars like scattered fireflies, each with its own story to tell a celestial map guiding lost wanderers home. Here, beneath this sprawling firmament, Dante's heart swells with poetic promise. With dreams yet to be born, their threads spun into tapestries of verse. The first hues of dawn begin teasing the edges of night, painting the sky in faint shades of indigo and pearl. As the shadows recede, Dante senses the city stirring from its slumber. With renewed resolve, he steps back inside, closing the window on the enchanted night. There is work to be done, destinations to be reached. His ink-stained fingers curl around the quill once more, ready to capture the beauty of those endless wanderings, to chart a course through both shadow and light. In the heart of Florence, where each step resonates with the weight of history, Dante Alighieri stands, a solitary figure amidst the relentless whirl of humanity. The cobblestones underfoot are worn smooth by centuries of footsteps, each stone a silent witness to the city's evolving story. Today, the sun casts a warm glow on the square, draping the bustling scene in a golden light that dances off the facades of nearby buildings. Their grandeur reflects the city's prosperity, a tapestry of Renaissance architecture, reaching skyward with an elegance that leaves visitors and citizens alike in awe. A symphony of scents greets Dante's, senses the sweet perfume of blooming flowers from nearby gardens clashing harmoniously with the heady aroma of roasted chestnuts from a vendor's cart. Each fragrance teases the air with a promise of indulgence, a momentary distraction from the weight of civic responsibility pressing upon his shoulders. Yet, amidst these olfactory temptations, it is the fragrance of memory, the faint, elusive scent of lilies that haunts him most, as if carried on a breeze from beyond time, reminding him of Beatrice. Voices rise and fall in a rhythmic cacophony, forming an ever-changing melody that is the lifeblood of Florence. Merchants shout their wares with fervent enthusiasm, their cries punctuated by the clinking of coins and the occasional dispute over price. The laughter of children echoes between the stone walls, a joyful counterpoint to the earnest discussions of scholars who debate philosophy in shaded corners. Even the muted conversation of lovers, their whispers drowned in the crowd, adds to the complex auditory tapestry. Dante's gaze travels upwards, drawn to the high banners that flutter in the gentle breeze. Their vibrant colors emerald, crimson, sapphire speak of civic pride and unity, echoing Florence's call to its citizens. Yet each snap and weave of the fabric seems to whisper Beatrice's name, an invocation that pierces through the clamor, stirring the depths of his soul more profoundly than any pledge to the Republic. He closes his eyes momentarily, allowing the familiar visage of her ethereal smile to form in his mind's eye, a vision of purity and grace that transcends the earthly. His heart tugs in two directions: toward the contemplative solitude where poetry and personal reveries reside, and toward his public duties, demanding focus and loyalty. Within him, an internal dialogue rages, the poet struggling against the statesman. He considers the path before him, one carved by political turmoil and personal devotion, knowing well the bitterness of exile and the sweetness of homage. Florence, with its looming towers and spinning wheels of trade, insists on his engagement, pulling him into its intricate dance of power and politics. Yet, in the quiet chambers of his heart, Beatrice remains the guiding star. Her memory nurtures his creative spirit, infusing it with a passion that lends his verse the power to transcend mere words. He vows to capture this emotional conflict in the epic beauty of his future work, crafting each line to honor her and to immortalize their shared moment of grace amidst a world fraught with transience. With a deep breath, Dante turns from the square, his mind set alight with inspiration, each step a balance between the world of now and the timeless realm of poetry, where duty and desire intertwine in the sotto voce of his soul. As the sun dipped below the smoky hills, casting an orange glow across the cobblestone streets of Florence, Dante Alighieri found himself at the heart of an assembling crowd. The marketplace bustled with merchants loudly advertising their wares: fragrant spices, vibrant fabrics, and pungent cheeses, while the lively chatter of the townspeople intertwined with the distant tolling of church bells. Dante stood motionless for a moment, his gaze sweeping across the vibrant scene. The air was thick with the aroma of freshly baked bread, mixed with the earthy scent of nearby vineyards. Every detail seemed to hum with the electric energy of possibility. Yet, beneath this microcosm of medieval life, Dante was keenly aware of the undercurrents of political intrigue and whispered betrayals that lurked in the shadows of every alleyway. The council members, robed in their fine silks, rings glinting under the dying light, watched him with expressions ranging from indifference to veiled suspicion. Their eyes, trained on him, were mirrors reflecting an uncertain future. Dante could feel the pull of their expectations, a pressure as tangible as the cobblestones beneath his feet. He knew these glances were not just idle curiosity. They were portents of paths that could lead to greatness or ruin. As he navigated the throng, each step resonated with the echoes of his contemplations. The steps seemed deceptively easy, the weight of his choices beginning to press heavily upon him. It was the burden of foresight, and the knowledge that every choice carried with it a multitude of consequences. In his mind, visions of a life exiled danced alongside images of revered leadership. Exile seemed a ghostly specter, haunting his thoughts, whispering of sacrifice and solitude, but also of freedom and discovery. The sunset, a fiery brilliance now receding into the purples and violets of twilight, cast long shadows that played upon Dante's mind. It masked the tales of past ventures, enveloping them in the day's final warmth. Here, stories were lifeblood, the very essence that gave the city its soul. In the woven fabric of Florence's history, Dante's threads were both a continuation and a divergence. His heart beat in time with the quiet call to destiny that only he seemed to hear clearly amidst the din. What would become of him should he choose the path less visible, the one barely hinted by the stars that began to twinkle in the encroaching night? He yearned for the clarity of those celestial bodies, each distant light a guardian of secrets long kept from mortal grasp. Dante's inner dialogue played like a symphony, each note a question of identity and purpose. If stories, as they suggested, were the currency of legacy, what sort of tale was he fated to write? The wind, now a cool breath upon the city's face, carried with it the murmur of possibilities. Fleeting snatches of conversation, carried to him unbidden, spoke of revolutions and reverence, of paths taken and not appointed by fate or folly. He moved with the conviction of one who understood that the tales that matter most are those that illuminate the darkness not just of the world, but within the self. As he stepped onto the path laid before him, Dante welcomed the night and its infinite potential, ready to seize whatever might emerge from the tapestry of destiny woven beneath the starry, watchful sky. The night enveloped Dante like an ancient cloak, worn but familiar, its fabric woven with the shared threads of human solitude. His exile had sent him wandering across foreign lands, a fate harsh yet somehow poetic, the path of a pilgrim unmoored from home. Now, standing on the terrace, he lifted his gaze towards the heavens, where the stars sprawled in an opulent tapestry, their luminescence cutting through the abyssal dark with celestial grace. The air around him was crisp, the kind of biting chill that sharpens the senses, heightening the awareness of each breath drawn. It carried the earthy scent of the Tuscan countryside, mingled with a trace of distant pine, a scent that danced around him like ghostly memories of places once cherished and now left behind. His fingertips, resting lightly on the stone balustrade, felt the coolness, an anchoring contrast to the boundlessness above. Here, amidst the nocturnal vastness, moments blurred between past and future, as if time was suspended in the poised silence of the stars. Their whispers threaded through his thoughts like golden glimmers, each twinkle a hint to deeper universal truths and lost histories. The constellations themselves seemed to pulse with their own secret life, each star a tiny echo of joy, sorrow, and persistence that had traversed the ages. Visions swirled in the recesses of Dante's mind, awakened by the muse of the silent cosmos. He saw Florence, its streets vibrant and alive, place of both love's deep passion and political betrayal. The heft of his estrangement bore down on him, yet beneath it ran a swelling river of creative fervor, an exiled bard's solace in crafting worlds where he still wielded influence. His wearied heart found an odd companionship with the stars, their eternal vigil, a testament to unyielding endurance. Despite the years and distances that laid between him and his former life, here, under the serene amphitheater of night, he sensed a profound connection, a cosmic empathy perhaps, with others who had paused as dreamers before nature's grand cathedral, pen poised just as he now imagined it. A gentle breeze swept across the terrace, rustling the olive tree's leaves with a soft susurration like old parchment whispered by unseen hands. This sound seemed to amplify the quietude around him. It was as if nature itself held its breath, leaning in to listen to the unfolding of his musings. In the silent dialogue with the universe, a realization crystallized. His exile was not mere punishment, but a pathway to clarity and creation. The tranquility of the moment was profound, a sanctuary where he could probe the depths of his soul without restraint. Thoughts flowed freely, as if his mind was translating the silent luminescence into verses yet unborn. The infinite tapestry overhead, with its complex constellation art, mirrored the workings of his imagination, crafting celestial narratives that traversed the emotional expanses of heaven and hell, love and redemption. As the first hints of dawn began to tinge the horizon with a tender blush, Dante remained, rooted to his spot under the stars, an artist in meditation. For him, these nights were woven not with despair, but with the threads of infinity and possibility, spiraling within the cosmos. Each star was an idea waiting to be born, a dream waiting to be realized under the watchful eyes of eternity. In the dim glow of Florence's lantern-lit streets, Dante Alighieri found himself in exile, his heart burdened with both longing and defiance. Each footfall on cobblestone echoed a symphony of nostalgia for a city that had cast him out, yet still held his deeper affections buried beneath layers of fading memories and cherished regrets. As he took pen to paper, the faint scratch mirrored the rustling leaves outside, stirring restlessly in the night breeze. In the depths of his solitude, Dante conjured the fantastical journey that would become the divine comedy. His mind was a tapestry of vivid images, chaotic and serene, terrifying and sublime, painting a cosmos far removed yet intimately tied to the earthly woes that shadowed his thoughts. Embarking on an allegorical odyssey, Dante entered the infernal depths of hell. The air here was thick, suffused with the stench of despair, and the cries of anguished souls reverberating off sulfurous stone. As he traipsed through its concentric circles, the oppressive atmosphere clung to his skin like the remnants of a fevered dream, the acrid bite of smoke scratching at his throat, the heat licking at his resolve. Yet, amidst this suffocating darkness, his spirit steeled, undaunted, in pursuit of understanding and redemption for every condemned soul, reflected a shadow within himself. Ascending to the purging fire of purgatory, the air lightened into a pungent incense of repentance. Here, Dante witnessed souls in fervent prayer, clad in rags and surrounded by vistas softened by the whispers of distant hymns. His heart, though still heavy with exile's lingering sorrow, felt buoyed by the understanding that suffering could be transformative, a crucible through which all traces of pride, bitterness, and fear might be refined away. The climb was arduous, his legs straining on steep paths, yet with every step, rays of enlightenment filtered through the canopy of his introspections, warming his resolve from within. As purgatory's spirals gave way to heaven's celestial spheres, Dante's senses were overwhelmed with color and light, a radiant symphony, glistening like dew-kissed meadows under dawn's embrace. Here was a world where every heartbeat resonated with joy, every whispered note harmonized with the cosmos, a sanctuary where the soul's thirst for truth found sweet balm. In this realm of angelic choirs and eternal love, Dante's heart swelled, lulled by a profound sense of belonging that life on earth had been powerless to provide. Yet, beneath the brilliance, Dante's contemplations ran deep, his mind sorting through the soul's incessant quest for meaning. The heavenly light illuminated not just the beauty, but the harsh clarity of humanity's flaws, laying bare the eternal struggle between glory and fallibility that marked the human condition. Each exaltation in heaven tempered by the acknowledgement of earth's shadows, where diaphanous veils of uncertainty hung like smoke wafting over the Arno River. Every stanza of his epic flowed with a relentless urgency, a fervent plea for connection in a world where exile was as much an internal state as an external sentence. Through love, unyielding in its purity and strength, Dante envisioned a path to intellectual ascent, where understanding emerged from sacred chaos and silence, whispered the profound truths of unity and forgiveness with the universe. Finally, with pen lifted from parchment, the echoes of Dante's Odyssey lingered. His prose was an alchemy of divine inspiration and personal introspection, a masterpiece transcending time, carved into the annals of humanity's eternal dance with destiny, love, truth, and the sacred journey toward belonging. As the first light of dawn crested over the rolling Florentine hills, the sky transformed into a canvas, painted with strokes of pink and gold, vibrant hues dissolving the remnants of night's deep indigo cloak. The air was crisp, whispering secrets only the morning knew, a gentle breeze carrying the earthy scent of dew-kissed grass and blossoming magnolias. Dante stood on a hilltop, his silhouette framed against the burgeoning light, eyes absorbing the serene beauty that unfolded before him. The transition from night to day held a promise of renewal, an unspoken assurance that beneath the surface of the mundane, something divine lingered. Here, nature orchestrated a symphony of awakening birds roused from their slumber, their melodies trickling like water over pebbles, a harmonious overture to the day. In this sacred solitude, Dante felt the weight of his journey, both of his feet and his soul. It was a pilgrimage through an internal landscape of imagined and lived experiences, where legends of loves lost and terrors faced danced vividly upon the canvas of his mind. This exploration demanded of him courage, for the path was not merely a physical one, but also a labyrinthine journey through the complexities of his heart and consciousness. Each step was an act of defiance against despair, with hope weaving its delicate filigree of light into the shadows of doubt. He closed his eyes briefly, drawing in a deep breath, and folding the tingling freshness of the morning air into his being. As he remained poised between night and day, there was a comforting stillness. It was in these tranquil moments that the whispers of the stars, companions through the long vigil of darkness, echoed their farewell. Their celestial murmurings, now fading into daylight, were like ancient secrets, shared only with those willing to listen. They spoke of truths beyond the immediate, insights discovered only by those intent on peering beyond the veil of the ordinary. The morning sun, still gentle in its ascent, cast long shadows that stretched languidly across the undulating terrain. It sparked life into the city below, where rooftops gleamed with an amber glow, each terracotta tile vibrant with the promise of new beginnings. Dante watched as Florence slowly stirred, awash in the glow of dawn, its streets still wrapped in a soft, expectant hush. Within him, a quiet determination grew. The city, with its tangled history and relentless striving against the tides of time and change, symbolized his quest for understanding, a resolution to unravel deeper truths about humanity, divinity, and his own place within that intricate tapestry. His heart, thrumming with life and inquiry, was a mirror to those questions, yearning to witness truth revealed under the ennobling and clarifying light of day. As the sun rose higher, enfolding him in its warm embrace, Dante descended from the hill with purpose, each footfall a prayer, a step towards enlightenment. The world, once draped in uncertainty, now seemed more hopeful under the morning light. He carried with him the peaceful resolve of someone who had glimpsed possibility in the silent conversation between the stars and the dawn. Underneath the gentle warmth of the new day, he saw his journey as a testament to the resilient human spirit, a chronicle written not just in ink and vellum, but in the lived experiences of the heart and soul, unburdened and free.